Like that. So, let's see. Where was I? Right. Strategy room, select servant. Who's next? Elizabeth. Oh boy, we're getting to someone oh boy, we're getting some characters I start to learn a lot more. Okay, Elizabeth. I screwed up. I know. Ah boy, here we go, Elizabeth. This is gonna. I'm about to just make some people very sad. Or very happy, depending on how you feel about Elizabeth. So. But, again, I will still show what she can do. Again, not gonna be totally douchebag to her. That's the heavy, by the way. So let's do a full chain. So full light, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5th. Okay, so 1 light, 1 heavy. Here's our aerials. Not too bad actually. 2 light, 1 heavy. That's fine. That's okay. 3 light, 1 heavy. That's not so good. I think it only goes up to that point. That's the wrong thing. Yeah, it stops there. Okay. 4 light, 1 heavy. She gets into this. This is not as good as you might think. That's actually not that good, unfortunately. So our basics seem fine at most. Nothing amazing. They're flashy, but that's about it. They're not amazing though. They really are not that amazing abilities. So let's basics. So let's start with our skills first. Estet Repulse. There's particles. There's Salgovar. And finally, sealed vocal room of isolation. So you saw our abilities. So I'll start with Estet Repulse. Here we go. So this is actually a decent rush skill. It's actually pretty neat. It has a problem though. Well, first it's very direct, but it's actually pretty fast. Give it a point. It's actually pretty fast, and it has a good amount of range. You can't move from it though, except maybe a little bit. Like, you really cannot move much from this thing. But that's perfectly fine. It's actually not a bad skill. The problem is, like, you see how she gets, like, she hits her bum on the ground at the end. Yeah, you're kind of vulnerable at that point. See? She has to just hit her bum there at the end. If she didn't have that problem, this skill probably would be... It's still one of her better skills, it's just... She kind of gets stuck on the ground for a bit there. Like, god damn it. This particles. So this seems familiar, doesn't it? This looks a lot like Tamamo's, you know, ice. Because it is. However, it is also just... How to explain? So Estet Repulse, think of it just like... A word... It's like... It's a fine ability. But this particles is just literally a worse ice. And I mean a much worse ice. It is only 3 projectiles. It is shorter in range. It does much less and it does a lot less damage. The only thing it's got going for it, it's a lower cooldown. But that's it. Like, it's... The amount of space it leaves in between each heart is so bad, though. It's sad. It's just sad. You're still gonna use this because this is good for farming drive, but it is very sad that, like, compared to Tamo, this is just sad. Versalgovar, oh boy. Yep, Versalgovar, you can kind of turn it around a little bit. If you didn't notice. First Salgovar is... You can only turn it once though. Warning, you can only turn Versalgovar around one time. Yep. If you miss this, you get one more chance to retarget it. The problem of this is... Well, I think you can see. You're stuck in this animation for ages. It does not do even close to as much damage as Blade of the Sun even. Doesn't do as much damage as Blade of the Sun. Does not hit as far as Blade of the Sun. It's literally, you can't even maneuver it as well as Blade of the Sun. Does less damage than Blade of the Sun. And literally has about the same cooldown. So why should you use this? You shouldn't. It's pretty bad. And there's not much comboing potential, by the way, at all with this. It's really sad. Sealed vocal room of isolation. This skill has one problem. If you haven't noticed, it takes a while to set up. Duly noted though, those megaphones do hit when they come down. So that's a plus. However, it is one directional. She has to pose first before shooting. And that's about it. Though you can do a combo from that. You can basically do something like you can sealed vocal room. If you hit someone with this, you can then wait a bit, instead repels and kill, do a lot of damage to someone. I don't think it kills. Pretty sure it doesn't kill. Or you can like vocal room into hearts as well. You can also do it like this. It's even easier with hearts. So you got those options, but it's still sad because like it's like a let me see an ability I could compare this with. It's like La Black Luna. It's like La Black Luna just without the slow effect. It does more damage, being fair. Okay, I know what I could compare it. It's like Tawamos Fiery Haven, but without being able to be moved around. So yeah, you can't move it around. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but you want another interesting thing? It's still one of her better abilities. I'm not even joking. It's still one of her better abilities. I mean, just so sad of an ability though. It's so sad that I have to like literally say this is one of her better abilities. Like, I've got a friend who's even better at her. I could actually call him technically to explain abilities on her, but he doesn't speak in Spanish though, so he's Spanish. He doesn't speak in English, I'm pretty sure, not much. So let's just show the rest of her abilities. Yeah, you think, is this gonna get better? I'm just gonna tell you, no it's not. With her, unfortunately, this is not gonna get much better. So, this is her other free abilities. So first, Lord Sugurtran. You might recognize this from Mr. Emiya. It's very similar, isn't it? Just, as you saw, the explosion didn't last long, did it? I'll explain later. Metasonic Concert. And Bloody Iron Maiden. Okay, so time to explain the skills. First, Lord Sugurtran. This skill is a fake Kalad Bulk, but worse. Not only does it take a little longer, it doesn't even... the explosion doesn't last close to as much time as Emiya's. Its cooldown is about the same as Emiya's. And you know what is even worse? It does less damage than fake Kalad Bulk. It is literally a worse fake Kalad Bulk. There is literally no reason to use this. I'm already gonna tell you. It is a very... it's just not good. Just not a good skill, I'm sorry. If it was a bit faster maybe, but like, it's so slow. Metasonic Concert, this skill You'd think it'd be interestingly decent, wouldn't you? Like, if you can catch some of this. Oh boy! Well, good luck with that. Good luck catching anybody with this. I have seen so many people just flat out ignore this skill. Just flat out ignore it. Just pass by through the animation. Just literally just... We don't care. It can be good and it can combo into other abilities. But you gotta like actually be able to get the ability. That's the problem. You actually have to get it. Or hit it. Which won't happen. At all. And Bloody Iron Maiden, which is Eliz's best ability. Yep, this is the best ability. It is not only your safest ability, it has a lot of comboing potential with a lot of other skills. It does absorb people. They can block this, by the way. And it heals her. And it also heals Elizabeth. So basically, if you want to get good at Elizabeth, you gotta learn how to use this thing. If you can use this thing effectively, congratulations, you are one of the few people that can use Elizabeth well. Also, this is one of the worst downward rush abilities. Probably one of the worst ones. So with that and... Oh right, drive. So how is she on drive? She's okay. If you haven't noticed, she's like okay. A lot of her things become a little safer, being fair. Oh, by the way, when they're inside the Iron Maiden, they cannot be hit by anything. Now our drive skill. Now, this drive skill has a problem, but also a benefit. I'll start with the benefit. That drive skill goes through walls and is a really, really long range. And I mean, that ability, this drive skill has really long range. And it goes through walls really easily. Negatives. You can be taken out of it. It's one of the drive skills in the game where you can get taken out of it. So, warning about that. If they can take you out of it, you are vulnerable. You are not invincible during your drive skill. Which is not helping your caves as a character in this game, for multiplayer at least. Let's just show how to play. Let's show how to play Elizabeth, I guess. And I think this will be the last one because my throat is starting to die. And I mean, literally, my throat is starting to die, and I think this will be the last one I'll do for today. Oh my god, my throat. Okay. This is gonna be it, chat. This is the last one I'll do for today. So, let me start a match. Go grab Elizabeth and show you my build, I guess. So, I use this build. It is not the best build. You really shouldn't substitute... you substitute Metasonic for Bloody Iron Maiden. I'll show you how you're supposed to use this. I'm probably not gonna be very good at using it, but, you know, I'll still do it. Here you go. But, here's what you're supposed to do. Or try to do with Elizabeth. Try and get success. Your whole hope of success with Elizabeth is zone controlling with her abilities, which is the only thing you can reliably do is zone control. On a reliable note. You're not very good as purely kill people, you're not very good at survival. You should start off, unless they have Tamamo, by using hearts, obviously, or, you know, narrow. You should use this, absorb, and yeah, there's Gilgamesh. Also, Sealed Vocal Room of Isolation is the worst Gate of Babylon. Congratulations. So what you wanted to do was something like this. absorb Gilgamesh, Vocal Room of Isolation, which would be the combo if the AI didn't screw me over. And just keep doing that, and then maybe into like the set repules and stuff. Something like this. Prepare it. Yeah, I still got Gilderay. Maybe I shouldn't use Vocal Royce Room first. Let's see, maybe I should like try something else. Yeah, even then it's not. While on drive you're a little bit more like, you can use hearts, and I think you probably should do more like this. Hearts into repules. Maybe. Maybe you actually should do it like that. You do have to time it, but if you time it well, you can actually do it really well. I think it's even better than Vocal Room of Isolation, probably, than doing... Room of Isolation, you should use it sometimes, once in a while. If you can catch someone with it alone. But this is probably what you want to do with her. Not probably, this is definitely what you want to do. Like, grab people with this, hit them with this, and I think, again, I think it has to be hearts into repules. Sticks the other way. Whoops, I gotta go the other way. Oh, so she has no buff skill if you didn't notice already, but... Okay. And I think you need attack speed. Okay, maybe you really should just, you know... You probably should just repules immediately after using Iron Maiden. If you have attack speed, you probably can do all 3 abilities, but... Basically, kill combos with her are really hard to do. She's already a freaking... so... Final note. On her. You are literally reliant on Bloody Iron Maiden hitting. And it can be blocked. And it will be blocked. Reminder, it will be blocked. By people. If you hit Iron Maiden, you can actually get some stuff going. But not only does she rely so much on that ability, a lot of her skills are basically worse versions of other character skills. Like, literally. Gilgamesh is like a 10 times better version of what she does. Except without Iron Maiden. And he doesn't need it, realistically. She just gets, in general, very outclassed compared to the rest of the cast. So what is her rating compared to everyone else? From D to EX, D, C, B, A, S, and EX, her rate is unfortunately D. She is probably the worst character in this game, unfortunately, as she doesn't have Cocoon survivability, she doesn't have as good damage as a lot of the DPSs, she does not have the invisibility / outside the point potential of poke as much as other characters. All she is a combo character with one niche, which is Bloody Iron Maiden, and that's basically it. With skills that are technically worse than every other person's skills with the exception of Iron Maiden. And even Iron Maiden, you can screw people up with Iron Maiden, which is the worst part. You can actually screw people by using Iron Maiden and save enemies by using Iron Maiden. She has a drive skill that, while very long range and goes through walls, doesn't make you invulnerable, so you can be taken out, and she just doesn't do as much as other people. Her drive skill gain is fine, is good actually, but it's still not amazing enough to like make up for her problems. So unfortunately, as much as it saddens me, she is probably the worst character in this game, bar maybe one more character, but I still believe that Elizabeth is probably the worst character in this game, unfortunately. I really like Elizabeth. Don't take me wrong, I really do like Elizabeth. But she's probably the worst character in this game.